So the headlights turn. Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Kaylee?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
We'll look at the left when I turn.
Not only did they turn, they light up a whole other light over there.
The BMW did that, right?
Yep, yes it did.
This seems maybe brighter.
Yeah, this one's even better. It has like a whole additional light that comes on.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really lets you know where you're going.
Check engine
And check engine light, yeah. But it's still fast as shit, so it's still making its power. All these German cars give us problems, but I'm glad we got it.
That's funny, the BMW ran poorly also.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. It is much quieter than that Mercedes.
Oh yeah, much quieter.
It's smooth too. This is a very, very capable car. Wow, the headlights are turning. Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they turn like crazy. It's so helpful. It helps you so much. Gives you all this confidence with like moose and stuff.
Seriously. Yeah, truly a nice car.
It feels like a luxury car.
Yeah, it really does.
Oh yeah,
It is.
it's a nice car.
Nice feeling car.
The V8 is so smooth. You're going at 4,000 RPM. Last
Yeah.
week you were at 4,000 with the 4-cylinder Mercedes, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, totally. That's tight right there.
No turbo lag today.
Wow, that sounds like a Formula One car. Wow.
Okay, that's fun.
Oh yeah.
That's Formula One car right there.
Oh, yeah. Nasty. Well, sometimes the damn thing won't upshift.
That must have been gnarly. Dude, I think on this downhill, I like upshifted, but maybe I was pressing the kick down at the same time and it wouldn't shift. I
Yeah.
was like, shift, shift. Kick down on the throttle. I would have to get used to that.
Nuts.
Wow. That could have been smoother on my part. I'm not used to that kind of response on the throttle.
Yeah. Wow.
That was like, I think we might have almost bottomed that suspension out into that uphill turn.
Yeah, still can't get over the high RPM noises of this thing. Whoa, pull. Okay, yeah.
My samples are not adequate for this
No.
machine.
Alright, so I've got another German car here today, an Audi. This is a 2013 rs5. It's got some rims on here, which I don't necessarily care for, but this car is sweet. It's got the 4.2 liter V8 making 450 horsepower, and the sounds that this car makes are amazing. This thing has seen some rough miles, I think, but it still drives great and sounds so good. So I'm gonna go up the canyon and enjoy this thing as much as possible. Woo! All right.
Filming.
All right, cool. This car is awesome. I want to get it going up the canyon ASAP. Uh-oh. It's not starting. Okay, so the car is running now. It didn't start on the first attempt. That was kind of scary. The theme of this car today is the 4.2 V8. And this isn't the normal 4.2 that Audi has in everything. It takes its roots in the 5.2 V10, which is like my favorite engine. One of my favorites. And this thing really sounds like a supercar when you downshift with it. It's a little too quiet, but when you downshift you can tell it's awesome. The windshield's dirty too. Alright. There we go. I made the light again. 62 degrees down here. This car has a radar detector thing, which also tells me the elevation for some reason. 5,200 right now. Let's listen to this car. It's unbelievably smooth, this V8. Typical German V8, but it revs to the moon. I'm going to try not to get a speeding ticket. Hopefully the radar detector helps me. It doesn't just bother me with its noises. I'm really enjoying this car so far. The seats have that weird Tesla-like trend of having a tiny, narrow little headrest, and if your head doesn't hit it perfectly, it just glances off to the side, and it's really not comfortable. It's annoying. I'm not used to it, so you have to put your head dead center, otherwise it doesn't work. And the seats themselves, they're just a little too wide. The bolsters aren't quite that aggressive. For an RS car, I expected maybe a little bit more aggressive of a seat, but these are good though. They feel nice, and they're heated. I'm going to turn the heated seat on. They feel nice. The steering wheel is great in this car, pretty much perfect. The 9.3 is great. I'm usually complaining about that, but this is really good. All right. That was just like 6,500 RPMs. I've got to say, it's really exciting to finally drive a car around that revs beyond 8,000 RPM. I guess I've really only hit like 7,000 or a little more in different cars over the years, and that's pretty weak. So this is great. I've only driven an E60 M5 as a valet briefly, although I had fun with it. I've never driven an E92 or E90 M3. So I've never really driven a high-revving German beast, ever. So the transmission in this car, I don't like the feel of the paddle shifters. They're really small and plasticky and have these ridges on them. I don't love the feel, but they give you fast downshifts and pretty good upshifts. Yeah, that was an amazing upshift right there. Look at these freaks. Oh no. Well, downshift. Those downshifts are absolutely supercar-like. So cool. Almost too much fun downshifting. So this interior is a pretty nice place to be. It has this faux carbon, or maybe it's real. It's got this carbon trim all over, and pretty nice leather. It's kind of leathery on the dash. So while this transmission isn't quite as good as an F10 M5 or a BMW of the same era, it's pretty damn good. I'm satisfied with it. I can't say enough about the downshifts. Amazingly fun. I am seeing the downfalls of turbo cars by driving this. And this thing is so smooth and happy to rev. It's just a pleasure to rev it out. That was 5,500 RPM. The throttle response, of course, is instant. This is about the same weight and similar horsepower as the Camaro SS that I drove a few weeks ago, and totally different philosophies. This is obviously the high revving dual overhead cam V8 German, which revs to over 8,000 RPM, 8,250 or so, and that was the push rod 6.2. And yeah, it's hard to say which is more fun, because that had so much low end, it was crazy, but this revs almost twice as high, so it's cool. So I can't totally enjoy the handling with all these people around, but it definitely handles pretty well. It's a fairly heavy car. And the steering has decent weight to it. It's not as heavy as a BMW M car, but maybe that's a good thing. The steering is substantial but not too heavy, and sort of numb but not bad. Feels good. It gives you a little pop on the upshifts, but not as much as cars in 2020. Yeah, this car is 7 years old. Interesting to think about. And obviously we'll never see a naturally aspirated car like this again. Not from a mainstream manufacturer. Not likely, at least. And it certainly is nice. The power you get from modern turbo cars is unbelievable, but this is truly motoring at its most basic form. So all this traffic isn't making for a great review. Most of this review is going to be about the engine anyway, and it truly is a gem. It's a really unique setup. The more you rev it, the better it gets, obviously. I just want to rev this thing out. Oh, fuck. That fucking van. Sorry to drive like a total asshole, but it is an Audi. Feels great going through turns. It feels like a typical Audi, which certainly isn't bad. Oh, but that sound! Wow! It's pretty easy to have fun with this car without totally shattering the speed limit. Got fairly low gearing, so even revving past 7,000, I'm still not touching 60 miles per hour. So you can just rev this thing in second to its full potential and only break the speed limit by a little bit. Yesterday there were a lot of people pulled over in this area, so I've got to watch out. I don't want to be explaining this on camera to a cop. Wow. So I revved it all the way out, but the shift was so delayed, I clicked it at around 8,000 and it still hit the red line for a solid half a second before shifting, so that's embarrassing. So this transmission's not quite perfect, but I still like it. Here, listen to this thing. I think it's safe to say that revving out a naturally aspirated car is more fun than boosting yourself around with a turbo. That's fun too, but this is really, really satisfying, revving it out, and just knowing that it's a simple setup, just taking in the air from the atmosphere. It's reassuring to know that besides like rod bearings and stuff, I'm thinking of BMWs, but naturally aspirated cars are obviously way simpler, and that's just more peace of mind for me. Wow. This steering wheel, I forgot to mention, it has these awesome bumps down below at the like 4 and 6 notches. Is that right? 3 and 7. I don't know clocks, but it has the wheel has these cool bumps down at the bottom, and they feel really cool. It helps you hold on to it. It's a nice thick wheel and perforated leather all around, which I like. So here we go. Yeah, it's too quiet, but it's gloriously nice sounding. Sounds really, really good. Truly sonorous. It is really good, but too quiet. I wish they made it a little bit louder stock. It's in dynamic mode. I just wish it was a little bit louder. Let's see what it will do. Is that a cop? Wow. The engine's really far forward. I mean, it's an Audi. I guess I should have expected that, but that's the freaking valve cover right there, right by the radiator. Wow. I've never seen an engine so far forward, but that's okay. It's got torque vectoring and special stability control to counteract that. So, yeah, this thing is awesome. I like these dual cold air intake things here. Yeah, sounds nice. The top of the engine is easily accessible. I don't know about the front, but yeah. So yeah, it's funny that this thing wouldn't start earlier. I was afraid to shut it off to film the startup, but luckily it did restart. But all right, well, it's running for now, so let's get out of here. It's got a single hydraulic hood prop. Very nice. Ooh. There it goes. So the reason it took me a while to get this car tracked down, I had it scheduled a month and a half ago, but it had to go in for a carbon cleaning and I think a belt replacement. So let's see if it starts. That's good. So the carbon buildup is a common thing with these cars, and I guess they're down at least like 20 horsepower when they have that issue, so it's important to get it taken care of for many reasons. And I'm glad it got done. People say these cars don't make the full 450 horsepower. They say it's more like 430, and hopefully that's not true, but wouldn't surprise me, I guess. It is nice to have analog gauges, especially on such a high revving car. It's a lot of fun. 6,000 feels like 4,000 in a normal car. Wow. Aggressive. Is anyone up here? Sounds crazy once it gets beyond 7,000. That was about 7,500 it shifted at. It really sounds crazy. And I do wish the car was a little louder, but that's fine. The induction noise is enough to enjoy. It's not very often you hear something revving this high, so it is a special occasion every time you rev it out. So the brakes in this car don't feel great. I feel like they probably have the original old fluid from 7 years ago in here, or they just don't feel that good anyway. Just kind of a mushy feel, a little too soft, but not much feedback. Just they don't feel very good. What was that?
Free chips.
What's that?
Chip company.
What?
Very few chips.
What's that?
20 chips.
What's that?
You know, it's funny. Sometimes the upshifts seem like they're instant, but when you're actually trying to be precise and redline this thing, it's not fast enough. At least not compared to a legitimate dual clutch BMW. Hey, howdy. Oh yeah. The engine's what I'm concerned about. Oh yeah, it just loves it above 5,000. So I got some nice turns here. Wow. This thing's a lot of fun. You can get carried away quickly. Audis are really easy to drive. I mean, they're kind of front-wheel drive oriented. Oh yeah. I think those construction dudes liked the sound of this 4.2. Everyone does. This thing sounds awesome. And with an exhaust, it would be insane. It would be nuts. All right, here's the best part. Let's enjoy. Yeah. $7,000 RPM, not bad. Wow. Those downshifts are so crazy. This car is really easy to drive fast. Quattro is wonderfully predictable and just easy. And the instant throttle response is something you simply don't get in modern cars unless they're a hybrid of some sort. Oh yeah, that guy was liking the Audi too. Everyone loves this car. Wow. That was about 8,000 RPM. This thing absolutely screams on the top end. It is a screamer. It is so fun. I've always wanted a high-revving, naturally aspirated German car. The E60 M5 is basically my dream car, and after driving this, yes, it makes me want that. Not necessarily this. I do love this, but yeah, as I press the brakes to just put this thing back in gear, the brakes go and feel terrible. But they probably just need a fluid flush and stuff like that, probably just maintenance. I'm sure they used to feel better. I won't necessarily mark this down for driver inputs being bad. Although the seats I don't love, like I said, the weird headrest and the lack of bolstering are just not quite perfect. And maybe they're just a little bit short as far as like thigh support. Maybe the bottom of the seat is a little bit small or something. The more I have to use the brakes, the more they feel like shit. So let's downshift. Oh yeah. Yeah, cool. So the main camera just stopped recording. I don't know why. It must have overheated pretty badly. So I'm just going to wrap up this review with the crappy audio on the GoPro, and I'm going to take this car up to Park City and have Stuart drive the crap out of it. So thanks for watching, and let's give this fucking car a SAM score. Woo! Category, powertrain, transmission. This transmission is great, but has annoying paddle lag. 8. Output. This is literally a Lamborghini engine minus 2 cylinders. 9. Personality. Again, this is a real supercar engine. Unbelievable. 10. Reliability. These 4.2s hold up very well aside from the need for carbon cleaning. 9. Category, chassis. Capability. This car has incredible all-wheel drive and barely feels heavy. 9. Fun. This RS5 is loads of fun, but not as playful as some cars. 8. Safety. This car was designed a long time ago and performs badly in modern crash tests. 6. Driver inputs. Aside from the slightly strange seats and tiny paddles, it's great. 8. Category, value. Maintenance. These cars don't need much besides intake valve cleaning, though this one was running badly. 8. Cost of entry. You can get one of these cars for about 32 grand, but they're pretty rare. 8. Long term. This is the last of the NA German monsters, and it has the facelift as well. 10. Fit and finish. This car only had a couple small squeaks and rattles. 8. Category, styling, innovation. This RS5 with its facelift shows Audi's modern styling cues and looks great, possibly Audi's peak of nice designs. 8. Longevity. These cars are pretty timeless and will always look great, though the rear end somehow looks dated already. 8. Wow factor. Enthusiasts definitely notice an RS5 and give it respect. 7. Personality. This car is just beautiful, but also aggressive enough to match its ridiculous powertrain. 8. That all adds up to a score of 132, my second highest score ever, coming in just behind the BMW i8 at 138. Awesome. Thanks for watching and happy motoring.